And hello again from wjlive, powered by the Western Journal. I'm Josh Manning, Deputy Managing Editor for Assignment here at the Western Journal. Joining me on the show today, Joey Chester, in charge of distribution.
Yeah.
Who has a very long title that I never remember. America's long national nightmare is over.
Woohoo.
That's right. The Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial is finished. The jury verdict is in. The verdict was in favor of Depp. A lot of people shocked over that. Some people not particularly shocked. The newsroom was divided on that today. Some people thought there was no way they would rule for him. I actually thought there was a pretty good chance they would rule for him. The jury came out with a $15 million award to Depp. That is split up into $10 million of compensatory damages and $5 million in punitive damages for the defamation suit. The jury also awarded Heard $2 million in compensatory damages, so I guess ultimately it's a $13 million verdict for Depp.
Nice, Nat.
Depp's figure was slightly short of the $50 million he requested. Heard's figure of $2 million was way short of what she had originally wanted, which was $100 million. Now, not to go down without a dramatic fight, Heard issued the following statement afterward. I found this on Twitter. It was retweeted by a trial lawyer named Robert Barnes, and his retweet said to her, advice: when found guilty of libeling someone for $10 million, don't respond by libeling them again. Hashtag Amber Alert. Here's what Heard had to say. The disappointment I feel today is beyond words. I'm heartbroken that the mountain of evidence still was not enough to stand up to the disproportionate power, influence, and sway of my ex-husband. I'm even more disappointed with what this verdict means for other women. It's a setback. It's all right, Joey. It's a setback. It sets back the clock to a time when a woman who spoke up and spoke out could be publicly shamed and humiliated. Yes, because that's what a $2 million award is, being publicly shamed and humiliated. Anyway, back to Amber. It sets back the idea that violence against women is to be taken seriously. I believe Johnny's attorneys succeeded in getting the jury to overlook the key issue of freedom of speech and ignore evidence that was so conclusive that we won in the UK. I'm sad I lost this case, but I'm sadder still that I seem to have lost a right I thought I had as an American to speak freely and openly. Amber Heard.
Does she realize that she single-handedly destroyed the Me Too movement?
She did. She lost her own case.
I know.
She lost her own case. The judge, if I remember correctly, the judge had to tell her to stop directly addressing the jurors.
Yes.
She was trying to, I think the term for it is jury nullification, where you essentially try to make friends with the jury and say, we know the law says one thing. You and I both know I broke the law, but hey, how about doing me a solid and not finding me guilty? I mean, this is just, you're right. The Me Too movement. Keep going with it.
I mean, I really do think it shows that the whole believe all women thing is a bunch of junk. And Amber Heard single-handedly destroyed it. I want to read Johnny Depp's statement, too, in contrast with that. So Johnny Depp released a statement. I also think it's slightly funny that he actually wasn't there during the verdict.
Confidence.
Yes, very confident. So he said, 6 years ago, my life, the life of my children, the lives of those closest to me, and also the lives of people who for many, many years have supported and believed in me were forever changed, all in the blink of an eye. False, very serious, and criminal allegations were levied at me via the media, which triggered an endless barrage of hateful content. Although no charges were ever brought against me, it had already traveled around the world twice within a nanosecond, and it had a seismic impact on my life and career. And 6 years later, the jury gave me my life back. I am truly humbled. It's such a stunning contrast between Amber Heard and Johnny Depp's statement. His life was destroyed for 6 years because of her. And justice was served, and his life is back. The justice system actually worked how it was supposed to today, which gives me a little more confidence after, the disastrous Sussman verdict.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
So he was radioactive for years.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what publication wrote that devastating piece on him. I think it was Rolling Stone a year or two ago. They had a reporter go and actually just kind of live with Depp for a couple days, and it was, as you read it, it looks very clear that Depp didn't realize kind of what he was agreeing to when he said, okay, you can come in. And the reporter, as a New York Times reporter once did to this publication, to the Western Journal, the reporter just acted very kind and gracious, then sliced him 6 ways from Sunday. So, he's been radioactive since this started. He's lost out on movie roles. Yeah. And look, Depp don't get the idea we're saying Depp is some kind of a paragon of virtue. He's not.
He's broken.
He's super broken. It does look like he's probably an alcoholic, probably a substance abuser. He's got some other issues. But if you paid any attention to the trial whatsoever, I felt like it became very clear who was in the wrong here and who wasn't. My rule, folks, you can't live by this, but you can just jot it down. My rule is the person who poops in the bed, probably the person in the wrong.
Yes.
It's my mom used to tell me that when I was growing up. That was a cautionary tale. If you poop in the bed, you're probably on the wrong side of things.
I think that originated probably hundreds of years ago, that rule.
Yes. So anyway, we want to do a little rehash for you.
Yeah.
Let's
got 6 clips.
I started this saying America's long nightmare is over. Well, why not relive just a little bit of it? We've got 6 clips that really were they made the trial. You may have seen some of them. I doubt if you've seen all of them. These were jaw-dropping moments throughout the trial, and they led to today's verdict. And when we get through that, we want to suss out a couple of other things, maybe even link this into today's politics a little bit. So, Joey, you got your director here.
Yeah, let's roll clip 1.
He's drinking and we're talking and there's music playing and he's smoking cigarettes and we're sitting next to each other on the couch. And I ask him about the tattoo he has on his arm. And to me, it just looked like black marks. I didn't know what it said. It just looked like muddled, faded tattoo that was hard to read. And I said, what does it say? And he said it says wino. It says wino. And I didn't see that. I thought he was joking because it didn't look like it said that at all. And I laughed. It was that simple. I just laughed because I thought he was joking. And slapped me across the face.
Slap me across the face.
Huh. With no proof.
No,
with
none
no
whatsoever.
proof whatsoever.
No. It's such it's really interesting to me. Like, she does not come across as a likable person to me.
Yeah, agreed.
And I imagine that played some influence with the jury. She does not come across as believable.
Yeah. And he's supremely lovable.
Yes. You like him, and he
you know what? I don't like this.
Yeah.
Keep going.
And Depp, I think, really had this just friendly, frank, honest persona about him during the trial that Heard just didn't have, and that story just doesn't sound believable to me.
No, it doesn't to me either.
Especially after we know the verdict.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't to me either. And we also know, if you have kids, you've actually seen this scenario play out where one kid asks the other kid something, the other kid responds, and the first kid just kind of does that. Yeah. Now, it's playful. There's no excuse for hitting a woman unless she hits you first, then, level her. But it may well have been that was the case, and Heard used it, because I know I've seen my kids do that exact thing and scream, "Oh, my son one time, actually, we were riding home from the movies and we heard a whack in the back seat, And my son immediately, he sounds like an air raid siren when he starts crying. And this started, and we said, what's happening? And she said, and I quote, talking about his sister, he said, she hit me in my tooth.
My tooth.
Well, what had actually happened was he was being a real jerk and bothering her, and he turned quickly to see her, and she actually just happened to have her hand up, and he turned right into it. But the version of it that we got was, oh, she hit my tooth. She didn't hit him. So, I mean, people will manipulate almost anything to get to improve their standing with a group of people, including a jury.
Right, and because of the Me Too movement, it's so easy to cook up these insane stories and just say, "Oh, you have to believe me. I'm right.
Well,
no, this is what happened."
We told them to do that with Kavanaugh and with Believe All Women. Not we, but the media in general told women to do that. They told them this is an acceptable thing. Everyone is supposed to believe you. Everyone's supposed to believe you without questioning. So why not take advantage of that? If it's fine with society for you to be believed with no evidence whatsoever, and you are always the victim, then why not leverage that? It seems to me that's what she may have been doing.
I think that's what she hinged her entire, all the op-eds on, and this entire trial was hinged on that. Was on the Me Too.
So could we say that the Me Too movement has cost Amber Heard $13 million?
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
That's a good headline.
It is. That's not
yeah. The second story.
Michael, if you're watching, put that together.
Yes, please. The second clip, and I think this might be the most famous clip that came from this trial. This might be the one
texts?
you've all seen. No, let's play it.
Brought up the situation of her fecal matter on the bed, and I and she tried to blame it on the dogs.
Dog hater.
Those darn dogs. Not only
Under the sheets. The dog goes under the sheets.
that's what Winston does all the time. Winston is my dog.
He goes under the sheets?
No, I'm joking.
Oh, okay.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's bizarre.
I've had dogs my whole life. I've never had one do that.
Yeah, this is a very strange relationship.
The maid's cleaning up the room.
Yeah, and there are pictures of this, I think.
Making up the bed. Kevin, help us, yes. She's making up the bed. We'll spare you the pictures.
Yeah.
She's making up the bed, and she finds that in the bed, fecal matter. And the story is that she goes to Depp and tells Depp about it, and he confronts Heard over it. And I think it was, I'm trying to figure out how to do this in a tasteful way. I think it was of such a nature that it seemed unlikely that the dog had produced it. Mm-hmm. Let's say that.
Yes.
Yeah. Of course, Heard blamed it on the dog. And I mean, good night. This is, well, we're going to talk about this at the end of it, but folks, just as you're processing this, just be thinking. Joey and I were both talking to our CEO about this a few weeks ago, and he just said the most salient thing. He said, "Yeah, this is the Hollywood dream. Mm-hmm. This is where all of the riches and the fame and all of that get you without Christ." Anyway,
yeah, and I think it shows just how unhinged Amber Heard was in this relationship. And I'm excusing like Johnny Depp or I'm sure
doubtless they're both.
But
like, they'd be both nightmares to be married to.
But this is the same woman who
Depp would probably be
I
a lot
think,
of fun as well. Heard does not seem like she would be fun at all. Depp would be fun.
I mean, it didn't. Depp's, at least a piece of his finger, get sliced off because she threw a bottle at him. This is the same woman. So this accusation is not surprising at all. But I really do think it's rooted in what you said, Josh. This is Hollywood without Christ. This is what it looks like. This is the dream. It's horrifying.
Mom also always warned me about those women who take fingers and leave poop. That's not the kind of city woman you want to be messing with. But she threw the bottle. And
what gets you to that point?
Bitterness, anger, the belief that you are righteously angry and that your bitterness is completely justified. And at that point, man, you know, your mind, I think it was Milton Friedman said that the greatest capacity human beings have is for self-justification. And man, once you are bitter and once you feel justified in your bitterness, I mean, gosh, you can justify doing almost anything. And I mean, look, just on top of the clearly kind of different personalities involved here with Depp and with Heard, marriage ain't easy. I mean, it is incredibly hard. So then pile on the combustible personalities, the lack of Christ, the Holy Spirit, and then just enmity. And you end up throwing stuff. Jordan Peterson talks about, like, most of the time we strut around thinking, oh, I'm a pretty good person. But then if you think about it, think about the worst argument you've ever had with your spouse or with somebody else. And think of the flashes you've had just for a second during those arguments. You will think about doing some unbelievably horrible stuff. And look, make no mistake, that is down inside us. I try teaching my kids that. Like, that is down there waiting to come up. And if you don't have the Holy Spirit to help suppress that and help get it out of you, then it waits. Resentment is a seriously, seriously powerful, debilitating emotion. And it can make you do really stupid stuff like cut people's fingers off.
I mean, I think Heard had no ability to self-reflect throughout this entire thing or in her statement and say, some of my behaviors were wrong. I mean, she's still, I think, probably convinced in her head that she did nothing wrong.
Well, I agree with you. I don't remember once there being a clip where she said, now, look, I'll admit, I did the wrong thing here. Yeah. And look, maybe you guys who maybe watched it more than I did, maybe she said that a bunch. I have not seen any sign of that. And that alone, I think, actually would have probably gone a long way with the jury. Yeah. But in cases where, I don't know if this is Arrested Development or not, but I talked about my kids earlier. That's also the kind of thing I see with my kids is a complete inability to realize, oh gosh, I'm at fault here. What we try to tell them is, like, when something goes wrong, your first thought doesn't mean, how do I show that it wasn't my fault? Yeah. Your first thought actually needs to be, okay, what part of this was my fault that I can take responsibility for? But man, I don't think most people are raised like that, and that is the last value that is instilled in people in Hollywood. Oh, gosh, the idea is it's all about you. You're perfect. Everybody else is wrong, and you mistreat other people.
Yeah. So the third clip I want to play is Heard being a total disaster on the stand, and I think this is part of why the jury decided the way that they did. Let's roll that.
Objection leading. Your Honor, I'm going to object on hearsay.
My co-star.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay. Objection, hearsay. Her communications are hearsay.
I tried to say that it was fine.
Objection, hearsay.
I found out that he was in a hotel room with Paul Bettany.
Objection, hearsay.
Did you have with Lily Rose without saying anything she said?
Objection, hearsay. Objection, leading.
If we approach and then your kid's in the car on the street, you
Objection,
need to move
hearsay.
it.
That calls for hearsay, Your Honor.
When he finished filming, the plan was to do
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay. Objection, form, compound.
Man, that's embarrassing.
Brutal.
Do you ever
so
watch
bad.
something on TV and you feel so sorry for the people that you get uncomfortable? That's what was happening right there.
Like I almost have to look away because I feel so awkward and like cringy watching it as she just crashes and burns.
I mean,
there was like no prep done.
Yeah, how did her attorneys not prepare her for that, not deal with it better? I mean, and they were setting her up for it.
They should have sat her down and asked her all of these questions and listened to her responses and said, oh, you can't say that, can't say that, can't say that. It's like no prep work was done. They just put her on the stand and said, say whatever you want. Just make it up and you'll be fine.
Watching this, I am trying to figure out how in the world UK courts came to a different decision on any of this. It's just beyond me.
I mean, I think UK culture is probably even more corrupted than American culture. I think they're probably farther
away. That's a good point.
I think they've lost even more Western value and tradition than America has, and so they may be further into the believe all women stuff than even America is. So, it kind of makes sense to me.
I know we're doing close, but I want to ask
Yeah,
you a quick
yeah,
question.
sure.
How much damage do you think this does to Me Too in a broader sense? Did it actually kill Me Too?
I think it's done a lot of damage. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I
Actually,
agree.
I think it's a good thing that's hurt Me Too. We saw what. Go.
Yeah, the mantra is should never be believe all.
No,
the mantra should be doubt all.
Yeah.
Doubt everything, and not just women. Doubt men. Doubt every claim. You have to have proof.
Yeah, it's nothing about hating women. It's about equal justice for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, if a man makes an accusation, that should be met with as much doubt as when a woman makes an accusation. So I'm hoping that this brings us back to an actual justice system, not the court of public opinion, which feels like we've lived in for so long now. So I actually think this does broad long-term damage to the Me Too movement, which is great because it brings some justice, I think, to people like Brett Kavanaugh, who had to deal with situations like this, and just utter destruction that has been done to men over situations like this.
Yeah, and the Dems have used this for 40 years. They may have used it longer, but my knowledge begins getting pretty shady past that. But gosh, I can't remember who the Speaker of the House was before Tip O'Neill. I can't remember his name, but he famously said, he was a Democrat, he famously said something to the effect of, it is not the validity of the allegation, it is the severity of the allegation that's important. So what that means is it doesn't matter if what you're claiming or what you're charging or what you're alleging, it doesn't matter if it's false. What matters is how juicy it is.
Yeah.
And the left, Democrats in particular, have used that nonstop ever since then. They did it to Bork. They did it to Clarence Thomas. They did it to Brett Kavanaugh. They have done it to they did it to Amy Coney Barrett. They did it all over the place to Donald Trump.
Oh gosh,
it's their favorite move, and it's completely backwards. It's a profoundly un-American take on things. The American take is that you're guilty until proven innocent. That's you're innocent until proven guilty. The Democrat take is you're guilty until proven innocent. So this, I mean, it's been in the playbook for a long time, and yes, she may well have been banking on that.
Yeah, it's really alarming if you think about it, because really you could get someone to cook up some wild claim about a man, say an elected official, a celebrity, whoever, partner with the media about this cooked up, wild, juicy claim. Then it's out everywhere, and the court of public opinion has ruled that this person is guilty before they've ever had a day in court. And then courts have been so influenced by public outrage that the court is inclined to rule in favor of the person making the accusation.
That just happened with Sussman.
Yeah.
He just got off,
Yeah.
and that was this entire thing.
Yeah.
Totally made up dossier.
Yes.
Totally made up Alpha Bank allegations. All of it corruptly made up. Fusion GPS, Hillary Clinton, Sussman, Hillary's lawyer, campaign lawyer. All of that was done. The media ran with it like crazy. The once upon a time chief disinformation officer helped push it.
Yes.
All of the mainstream media helped push it. And it was all completely made up. Sussman was responsible for some of it, and a court just let him go. It's the exact thing you're talking about. Only on presidential, on an international level. We're talking about changing global politics because of this really, really messed up way to manipulate people, which is it's not the validity of the allegation, it's the severity.
Yeah, and that's the direction that the justice system's been moving in. We don't have a ton of time left. Let's play the next video. It's some questions for Depp.
You were drinking pretty heavily.
Were you there?
It's my question to you, sir.
No, I wasn't drinking that heavily.
Pills, right? With Marilyn Manson?
I once gave Marilyn Manson a pill so that he would stop talking so much. Sorry.
All right. I get it. And you would sometimes drink whiskey in the mornings too, right?
Isn't happy hour anytime?
You can't say that you carried cocaine in that box?
No, but it looks like it would fit some cocaine. Bless you.
You poured yourself a mega pint of red wine, correct?
A mega pint.
Yeah.
I just love his answers here. Depp was actually really skillful in how he answered those questions.
Incredibly.
He just sliced right through the questions and made them sound utterly ridiculous with his answers. His answers were really humorous. They were really quite funny. He actually had the courtroom laughing, and it totally made the questions for him sound just absurd and having no relevance to what was going on. I just think he so masterfully answered those questions.
Yes,
Yeah.
lovably.
Yeah.
And I hate that his statement after the verdict was read was what it was instead of, and there were suggestions of this online, I think really he should have released a one-sentence statement, which is, "This is the day you will always remember as the day you almost caught Captain Jack Sparrow."
Yes.
That would have been so perfect, Johnny. Why
It
did
seems
you
like
let
something
us
he
down?
would have done.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. All right, clips. We got more.
Yeah, let's play clip number 5.
But this case doesn't come down to whether you believe Ms. Heard or you believe Mr. Depp. This case comes down to whether you believe Ms. Heard or you believe Mr. Depp, Christy Dombrowski, Sean Bett, Malcolm Connolly, Travis McGivern, Starling Jenkins, Keenan Wyatt, Dr. Kipper, nurses Debbie Lloyd and Aaron Filati, Tara Roberts, Ben King, Kate James, Kate Moss, Dr. Colber, Morgan Knight, Morgan Tremaine, Officers Melissa Sines, Officers Tyler Haddon, Officer William Gatlin, and Beverly Leonard.
So all of those witnesses supported
Yeah.
Depp's testimony and case. That's pretty stunning. I mean, Heard had pretty much herself, and that was it. She was just relying on her own stories that she could tell in court.
Yeah, and very few conspiracies are such that at least one person wouldn't come out saying, "Hey, it's all a conspiracy. I know the real story."
Yeah.
They couldn't get anybody.
No.
Yeah, there's a certain number of witnesses after which you're entitled to really think, you know what, maybe this guy actually is innocent. And it's not clear to me why any of them are. Arguably, Depp is bankrupt. There's, I think it's unclear exactly what his financial situation is. I doubt if he had the money to pay off all of those people. Maybe he did, but I also doubt that in that litany of people there wasn't at least one person who would have said, "No, I'm above being bribed." Yeah.
And if you think about it too, in the realm of all the Me Too stuff, there'd actually be more incentive for the witnesses to side with her.
Oh, sure.
And turn against
Cheap
Depp.
credibility,
Yeah,
cheap moral
exactly.
virtue.
Supporting women, that whole thing. So it actually, for them to side with Depp, I think that makes a really strong case.
Yeah, I do too.
For what the verdict ended up being. And then we have one last clip. It is Johnny Depp's final testimony, which I think is really great.
See what the jury and judge think. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, man, I'm a victim too of domestic violence, and
Yes.
it's a fair fight. And see how many people believe or side with you.
No matter what happens, I did get here, and I did tell the truth, and I have spoken up for what I've been carrying on my back reluctantly for 6 years.
Carrying an angry blonde mermaid on his back.
Yeah, and he really made the point that, in the justice system, if it works how it's supposed to, truth wins in the end. And that's what happened here. Truth won in the end. In that first little bit, we hear Heard screaming at him, What sounds like after she hit him or something, saying that, tell the world that you're a victim of domestic violence. And he says, yes.
Yeah, she's daring
and
him
no
to.
one will believe you. I dare you.
Yeah, she's daring him to, using the whole Me Too attitude, the whole Me Too animus there. She's acting based on that. She really did seem to think, there's no way they'll believe you because I'm the woman. And boy, talk about a dangerous kind of person to deal with, too. Someone who thinks that they are essentially above consequences.
Get away with anything.
And there's only so much you can read into body language and that sort of thing. But man, if you looked at the look on her face when he was speaking, that was about as arrogant and overconfident look as I've ever seen. So let's take it back to why all of this matters. At the end of the day, why does it matter that two movie stars who've got millions of dollars that they've gotten into a long-term slap fight, and one of them pooped in the bed and cut the finger off one of them, and the other one allegedly slapped the one. It doesn't matter that much, except it shows really just how. Folks, the problem with humans is not an environment product. An environment problem. Those people were in the best environment possible. Millions and millions of dollars, mansions, private jets, wonderful cars, the best attorneys, the best food, the best wine, the best drugs, everything. The best of everything. If anybody should have been able to have a good life and pull it out together, it should have been those two. But they couldn't. And in fact, it was a completely hellish life. I think they would both agree on that. I think they did both agree on that. I think the recordings agree on that. So what does that mean? What do you take from that? You could be super hopeless and think, well, gosh, if there's no hope for them, then there's no hope for anybody, because I'll never have Johnny Depp's mansion or those things. But it's really the opposite. It's that there's an unbelievable amount of hope for all of us, because you don't have to have a mansion for things to go well for you. You don't have to be a movie star. Really what you have to be complete and to be satisfied is Christ. That's it. Now, we're humans. We're made we're made with certain needs that need to be filled, like food and sleep and water and significant others and those things. But none of those things are gonna fulfill you. Without Christ, without redemption, without dealing with the problem of sin. And Christ is the only one. If you ask me why I'm a Christian and why I'm not a Buddhist or a Muslim or a Confucius or anything else, the answer is because Christ is the only one who deals with the sin problem. He's the only one that fixes the sin issue in people. And that's what they both desperately, desperately need. And sadly, without that, our lives are only going to be varying degrees of kind of the hellishness that went on in their relationship and in their marriage. But with Christ, truly, you can have very little and still be incredibly satisfied. And it is a shame that it's been this long in life. It's taken them this long in life to learn just how empty all of this stuff is.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And we see it similar to, there's a story about Hunter Biden that came out today, where we found out that Hunter's basically a porn addicted drug addict. Really disturbing stuff. And
possibly performer.
It looks like he himself uploaded videos to a website known for human trafficking. And I think a root cause of it is these people all think that their lives will be fulfilled. But I think they're looking for fulfillment. They're looking for it in money, in cars, in women, in self-love. And they're looking for fulfillment in all the wrong places. And I think that constant desire for fulfillment in all the wrong places leads to what we see with Hunter Biden, with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, and so many people that are the elite, so many people on the left. And there's really only one thing you need for fulfillment, no matter where you are in life, and that is Christ. Bingo. And the left, this drives me nuts. So many on the left, the elite, they hate it. They mock us. They make fun of it. And the thing is like us, peasants, what they think of us, we're all happy, and we don't have nearly
Yeah.
what they have.
Yeah.
And there's one core reason why we're happy, and they don't get it.
Yeah, if you can be satisfied with things, then that is wonderful for the left because all they have to do is control the things. If things can never satisfy you, if things of this world can never satisfy you, then that's an enormous problem for the left because they're ultimately powerless. It also means that environment is not the thing that determines what we are, and that has always been the thought from the left, is that if you can get the environment tweaked in such a way that everything is perfect, then you have they called it the new socialist or the new Soviet man would emerge, and he would be radically different from the selfish, petty, and brute men of the past. But it turns out that's not true. You can put a person in the best environment possible, which I think is probably Johnny Depp. I mean, it doesn't get just that much better than that. And we will make the wrong decision. Same thing with Amber Heard. And that truth is devastating to the left. It means that their answers, their version of utopia, their roadmap for how to get to utopia is fatally flawed. And so Christianity is no good for the left because it fixes the problem that, it exposes the problem that is the fatal flaw of leftism. So congrats to Johnny Depp. Congrats to Amber Heard for this being over. Maybe they'll both go and do a little bit of self-assessment, and it would be really cool if one or both of them ended up coming to the end of themselves and realizing, gosh, I am hopeless on my own, and that God, Christ, they're my only hope. Any other thoughts?
No.
All right.
That's good.
Cool. Well, thanks for being here with us today. Again, America's long nightmare is finally over. Johnny Depp wins 13 million to 0.
Me Too is dead.
Me Too
I'm
is
declaring
dead.
it.
Me Too is dead. Get ready, though. That zombie's coming back. Have a stake ready to shove in
elections
its
are
heart.
coming out,
Yep,
so.
exactly right. But that's it for us. Remember, we are here on wjlive every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. If you're watching online, be sure to click the subscribe button. After that, click the little bell. That's going to make sure we don't get shadow banned. And finally, thank you for watching. If you would like to support us more directly in the work that we do here, we would be eternally grateful. You folks who partner with us are the reason we are still in business. We're a small company, and any help you can provide is just wonderful. If you can't afford it, don't worry about it. Just continue to enjoy the show, enjoy westernjournal.com. If you can't afford it, if you do feel led to help, go to westernjournal.com/join. That's westernjournal.com/join. All right, until next time, I'm Josh Manning. This is WJ Live. We'll see you later.